back to my Hearts of Iron Let's Play of the USA. This is segment number 6. I've just started and I notice I have a pop-up here under Diplomacy, Destroyers for Bases. United Kingdom needed some destroyers and the US wanted some basing rates. So I agreed to that. September 1940, the governments of the United States and the United Kingdom reached an agreement for the transfer of 50 destroyers of the 1,200 type from the U.S. Navy to the world in return for American basing rights for 99 years in the Caribbean. Really, that's all I'm interested in. Now, the destroyers actually show up right here, and you'll see there's 5 destroyer flotillas. A lot of people we've always wondered how many destroyers were actually present in a flotilla, but here we said 50, and there's 5 here, so that would tend to think there's 10 each. At any rate, they show up in Boston and they'll make their way over. Alright, so let's set the speed to 5, and let's see what happens. Alright, France has decided shame and defeat. France has fallen. The shame of defeat burns in our souls. It is time to rally all true Frenchmen to our cause. France can be redeemed and will be redeemed. The flame of French resistance will not be extinguished. Alright, that gives us another option for our laws, which is when you draft, which I will take. And of course, the UK decides their finest hour. Japan wants their share of the pie as being an Axis member. Of course, this will make our relationship drop by 5 of them. Then we got our armored car. We still want it to go until it shows 1940. Let me refresh myself what's in production. Okay, this looks good. We got our first support brigades coming out for the 1st Corps, and I want to go ahead and let those reinforcements run. Alright, August 1940, full processing. Now, I didn't say I'd run a few of these because I was getting close. Don't want to do that. Rare materials, good. Close on those also. Still, as of right now, only plus 5.5. Jumped up to 14. That's good. Just to strike. Okay, moving along nicely. And the reinforcements. Don't waste any IC. Like UK's pushing in to the Italian lines. I still think this, I still have hopes that this would be a very interesting game because of the non-normal outcome, for example, of the Spanish Civil War. It does tend to be a different game when the Republicans win. We'll see. I think ideally, for me to make it interesting, I have played some games where Italy captured all of the Med, and I played a game recently where Germany, of all people, captured Gibraltar. I had no idea how that happened because obviously I wasn't looking at it. I was looking at something over in the Pacific. But it was a very interesting game. How many people I today very battleground. Now again, when it comes to fighters, I'm going to let everything run until it tells me it's ahead of time. Alright, Greece. Limited. this is a good time, excuse me, for me to separate. I have had these here just to cut down on the amount of supplies needed because I didn't need to transfer supplies all over the country. But now's a good time for me to separate these out. And I'll start with the First Army. This is just my method. It works for me. I don't suggest it works for everybody. But this is how I always do it. Just for looks, aesthetics. Alright, so now we've got, if I recall, in the last segment, did get, yes, superior firepower. So now I'm going to change all these to 3. 3 infantry brigades. The extra brigade over here. This is essentially these will be my Pacific fighting force. Because I will do my best to mechanize in Europe. I generally, depending on how the game goes, I generally try to have 2 full mechanized armies in Europe and 2 full leg infantry armies in the Pacific. Finland, except on the axis. That's interesting. Okay, so what we have here now, I can add my support brigades. So artillery goes to everybody. And yes, I do use the headquarters. Six artillery. And 5 anti-tank. Now, you may be asking yourself, why are you putting AT brigades in the force you just said would be fighting in the Pacific? Well, for various reasons. For me, I do it because I want them to get the AT brigades, I want them to get experience as they're fighting, because eventually, if things go to plan, I will be attacking into Russia after World War II is over. And I do so enjoy those AT brigades. Russia brings all its armor over. But that is one. Okay, extra. Let's go ahead and actually might as well do it now while I'm thinking. Just take that extra brigade from all of them, stack it up. Now there may be a better way to do this. The planning tool here. Yeah, this just works for me. I'm not sure if there's a better way, but I'm sure I do many things that are not the most efficient. Then again, I don't really play games as spreadsheets for the most part. Play them for fun. And I will be manually assigning leaders to everyone. Try to choose the best one. Sometimes you run out of leaders of certain types you want. For example, I do my best to put logistics wizards and my leg infantry to be fighting in the Pacific, because they will be fighting in China, Asia, and I want them to have the best chance so that supplies are not a major issue. They can be an issue. I've said a few times I've never lost the war due to supplies. Now, you do have some setbacks. You may lose a few battles here and there, but overall, supplies shouldn't be an issue as long as you don't try to stack too many units, even in rough terrain. Now, when fighting in Asia, I use a lot of strategic bombers to mess with the infrastructure of the enemy, and it does really have a nice effect. Right now, what we've done is you'll notice that each of my headquarters units, I have stuck 3 infantry brigades in, because that's the way I like it. I actually use the headquarters in combat. Not only does it give me a 6th combat unit, but it also helps the commanders get much more experience and faster. So now that we've got these extras here, I can try to fill up the 4th. And this is holding down shift when I select those. We'll send him there. And we'll send this there. So he's got 1, 2, 3. He needs 2 more. Round him out. So we'll attach him to the 4th. And attach this one. Rounds that 4th around. Got fighters. Enjoy them. Interceptors. Multi-rolls. Good. How many more multi-rolls do I have in production? Generally, 4 is enough to start the war in the Pacific with. Looks like I've got 2 more in production. Alright. And that gives me, let's see what we got here. Gives me 14 extra. And I believe I'm going to go with I don't know what I'm going to go with actually. Let's make some Marines. Now, I tend to use 5 by Marine. It's probably not a good idea, and it's probably too wide a frontage or something like that, but I just don't care what I like to do. I used to do 3 by, but I just changed my mind, I don't know, several years ago, so we're going to go 3 by Marine. I'm going to put those at the top of the list. As long as it doesn't interfere with any of the naval vessels, I'll let it run one day and take a look. Fine. As long as it's into the industry or the convoys, I'm fine with that setup. And you notice now my officer ratios in Bulgaria with the Axis and supply organization. That's good. Okay, now what was I researching? Looks like planes. That's all in research. Now I will also want to research the top 2 in CAS, whether I build CAS or not, because then these also affect the combat aircraft CAGs. So I will try to keep them updated also. Yes, Republicans. Spain have the A-25. How's artillery coming out? 1936. A couple more of those. And we have 5 extra. Looking good, looking good. Now, in this instance, I think I'm going to throw in some submarines. I'll just throw in 2 for now. Those subs out there. It's paradoxical because there's a landing craft. I don't necessarily want to hamper Japan too much actually early on. I like the games where they take out New Zealand and Australia because I'm concentrating mostly in the European theater and sort of on defensive mode here in the Pacific. And when you go out here and you send your submarines everywhere, that really hampers their ability their supplies, their resources. I don't necessarily want to do that. And now I can start researching. Just for the sake, I'm going to go ahead and put both these in and throw them up at the top. Little mechanized infantry back there. That is really what I'm waiting on. Right? Next for IC, this gives me a couple more interceptors. What does that leave me with? Alright, so I've got 2 multi-rolls and 6 interceptors, 4 TAC, 0 strategic. I do have strategic bomber. I thought, yes, right there. Got 1 in production. 2 more. Alright, so that'll give me 4 and 8. That's a good composition for right this moment. Now, I'm going to go ahead and ask for another tactical bomber. First radar station. No, that's the second. Yes, second radar station is coming. Very good. Radar does help your planes in the province and the surrounding provinces that touch where the radar is located. Adjacent is the word. Atlantic City. Excellent. Harrisburg. Excellent. Alright, I need to find a replacement for that. So let's go down here to Wolfman. Fill that right up. And how is Germany doing against Greece? That's a little disconcerting. Not sure if Germany has no way. They declared war on Greece, and of course, well, Yugoslavia grants military access to Germany and Bulgaria. It doesn't look like the Germans have made their way through yet, because Greece just took all of what was Albania, and no Germans in sight. Alright, 1940 is where we want that to be, and since I had 1 extra, I'll just leave that for now, because it's right where I want it to be. Bulgaria is having a little fun. Looks like they're ping-ponging back and forth here. And more interceptors. Do enjoy the interceptors. Alright, now I have 2 battleships. I have 3 carriers total, I believe, already produced. Yeah, 3 produced, started with 3 for a total of 6, which means I've got 3 level 5 carriers for the Essex class. Let's throw in 3 more, because that's going to take 25.31 IC, and I've got 31 excess. So let's throw those 3 at the top with their tags. That will give me 9 carriers, which is generally all I build. As I said earlier in one of the previous videos, I generally just prefer to have 6 carriers, which is 2 separate fleets in the Pacific and 1 for use in the Atlantic. I've seen Let's Plays, YouTube videos, and read AAR where people build 15, 20, 30 carriers. It's not really for me. Not something I'm interested in. Texas is going to get built up. tech for CAGs. I'm not sure how this is going to end up for Germany. The Republican Party won the election. I do like that. Let's see if I need to change anything. Tennessee to drift. Tennessee to drift. I don't really like his title, apologetic clerk. So I'm going to go with Arthur Vandenberg, party support. I don't really care about the threat impact because I want to get it. Again, right now my goal is just to build up the Republican Party. So even if I don't necessarily want, although I am going to pick because I will want to build some strategic bombers. I'm already going good with the light fighters, so let's go with the heavy aircraft practical decay. Minister of Security. Usually I go with Murphy, and that's what I'm going to do now since he's Republican. Political intel. Yeah, Donovan. It's fine. Chief of Staff. Now we're going to have to go here, either Leahy or MacArthur, and I'm going to stick. I like that organization, regenerate, regain, regenerates faster. And of course, I generally go with MacArthur again here, but let's see. Nah, let's go with MacArthur again. Local unit practical decay. Chief of the Navy. Now in this instance, I want my capital ships to come out because they take the longest to build. I want to lose the less amount of decay on them. Go with Hardy. And I actually want light air superiority doctrine, but for now, since I'm going to be building some medium bombers, I'm going to go with Grumman. Oh great, good scandal. Nothing like a good scandal to get you going. Look at that. From 2 to 32, so that's 30 IC. I'm losing. Just from that one event. Destroyer is always a good thing. Level 5 destroyers, excellent. Now, I know I'm losing a lot of IC, but I did just get 2 destroyers out, so I'm going to throw 2 more back in the queue. I don't know what's going to happen here. Apparently they're Bulgaria and Greece are just going to ping pong back and forth. Back to the Navy. Of course, I am down because of that event, but 40 should be where I'm at. I do want to get the naval text back up. I would really like to see Germany do something down here. Now we got the Soviet Union mobilized. That I see back. Let's see what it looks like. Alright, that's good. All the important stuff is still being built. And it's just the factories, convoys, which are fine for now. Naval strike tactics. 40. This for research. Now, really, for my purposes, the most important thing in here, or perhaps the second most important thing in here, is basing. Because this right here is what it really helps me out in Asia. The fact that I get the bases as large as possible, able to handle as many supplies as possible. Looks like the UK been on a roll over here. Although, you see that Italy has been doing a number also. I would very much like to see, no matter how the game plays out, I'd very much like to see Italy take the Suez. And I'd like to see Germany actually move on down here and do something. Now I guess there's pluses and minuses. Maybe if Germany doesn't move its forces down here, that gives them more on the Eastern Front, and they'll do better against Russia, which is always a good thing. Because I will, just about every game I play, my goal is always to take on the Soviet Union after World War II is finished. Just more interesting for me. And it looks they may not have a whole lot of units left in Norway, because Norway, I can't imagine Norway has a lot of units that popped up. And Germany seems to be having a problem putting them down. So I'm going to leave that small air search radar. Actually, for now, I'm going to go to neighborhood. What we got here? Land lease. I'll take control of Greenland and Iceland. Now, this is interesting for me, because I often do not agree to lend lease. I don't want, I'm going to agree to it just for these game purposes. But a lot of times I don't send any, because I don't want just for this video purposes. Again, I want Germany to be strong. I want it to be an interesting game for me. I want to be able to land. Oh, look at this now. Look at this. Italy's pushing them back. I know it seems odd for me as the USA to be saying go Italy, but it's just grand. Full mobilization. Alright, now that releases, notice that if I'm placing mobilization, I've still got a negative 25% IC. Lawless, I guess, is the min-maxer say. And once I go to full mobilization, that reduces that. It also reduces my 25% resource deficit. So let's see what this looks like. Make sure that run it for one day and see how it settles out. Alright. Go Italy. Now, I will click accept that I'm not actually going to send them any. At least not at this time. I may in the future. Now this is 41 we're in now, January, so it's finally Germany. Now, in January 41, you declare on Yugoslavia to get down to Greece. In the meantime, looks like Bulgaria might wipe out Greece. Italy's doing good. But I'm concerned about Germany moving all its forces down here. Russia deciding it doesn't want to play nice anymore. Okay, I will go with, it is 41. Let's stick with the Navy and just round that out. Yes, so I can throw another one here. Spotty. That should work. shall see. And UK finally conquered Ethiopia. That seemed to take a while. Car. They're both up to show 1940. I'm very paying close attention to that now instead of saying until it gets to 1940, because as one of the forum posters pointed out, that they say that 1940 is the next research. I do realize that, but let's see here. And I have one additional. I'm going to go with radar training. It's now hit 41, so it's not yet. I still have the yeah, so I didn't use all of them. I'm going to go back to infantry. Finish off that chain. I think I can finish here. Just to stay. I still have AI research. I'll wait. Very good. Keep running on that because I do want to get to assault ships. Well, it's good to see some movement in Europe. I realize that since I'm not in the Allies, can't see actually what's going on in Greece. But at least we can see after the fact movement on the map here. And look at this. Italy. Again, I will let fighter research go until it tells me it's too far ahead. We're at 331. Still moving over there. That's where we're at. And again, 11 I see here. Gives me 8 extra. I'm going to make 6 more artillery as reserve and 5 more anti-tank to go with the second. Now, instead of moving those to the top, the industry at the bottom, almost all of the convoys have come out on one line left. See how that affects it. I like the looks of that. Yes, I do. Good. Now that's good. Alright. Germany annexed Yugoslavia. Unlimited national emergency. Yeah. That 3-year draft on war economy. Now we're getting to the point where we can start thinking about officers. Now I get instead of moving the Mollis on full mobilization, I get an extra 25% on war economy. Of course, money now has a 25% penalty. But generally as the U.S., because I've been selling for years, got plenty of money. IC starting to heat up now. Great. Time to throw in 3 light cruisers. 2 heavy cruisers. Great. they annexed Yugoslavia and then released the area here as Croatia. Croatia has started to mobilize their reserves to sit down. I've got to finish. I've got to do something about Greece. Oh, look at this. I do believe that that the strait, the Suez Canal, is now closed to England. I think. I'm not sure if they have to have this one also in both of these ports. But I know when I played as Japan and coming here and taking these out, that it's something like these three, the port and these three provinces. But we'll see. As you can already tell, this game is sort of off the rails, if you will. Which, as I said when I first started the first video, that generally tends to make the best games. 10 extra IC. And I'm going to, believe it or not, I'm going to put it in destroyers. The U.S. starts with a whole bunch of level 1 destroyers. Now they're fine if you want to do ASW, but the range really limits, the range is 1,500 kilometers. And that's really a limiting factor from my standpoint. Reinforcements are complete. We still have 6 extra IC. Well, I'm going to throw in a naval bomb just to get it started. Fighter ground again. Another fighter ground. Let's take it. You see, I'm already short on. Everybody talks about how the U.S. has unlimited resources. I'm already running short on rare material. But then again, I may be trading a lot of it away. I'll have to take a look here. Remember, I've got the AI set on auto trade. Carrier group doctrine and port strike. So we're going to take that out. I'm sorry. It's not going to take that out. Leave port strike in. Everything looks good here. I'll go back to the land tab for now. Start on that. Always with the operational level organization first, because I want to decrease the amount of time between each attack. Now this is not looking good. There's that mechanized infantry I've been waiting on. Not looking good at all for England. Now let's take a gander at our production possibilities. Now I can see here that I can build mechanized, so I will start 2 mechanized, an armored car. For now, I'm actually going to put 5 of them. 2 mechanized, 1 armored car. And I will come back later and put in self-propelled artillery. But for now, I need to research it. Now move again, move the factors down to the bottom. No particular rush. Alright, Germany annexed this. This is interesting, very, very much so. Carrier crew training, strategic. Land tab. Work on the land tabs. And we have something coming out of production. Tags. Again, I will put these in. Norfolk. Six CAGs for 3 carriers. Look at Bulgaria. We're processing the raw materials. They're now ahead of time, so well, go this into land. Something else is going on in production. We like connection. I always try to build light cruisers when I build carriers because those are the screens. I use the light cruisers in the carrier fleets. Yes, Mexico, you can have that sub carrier task force. Ooh, definitely. So we'll stick with Navy in this particular instance. Radar station, that's the third one in Honolulu. Now, it's May. Historically, the war started in December. Getting there. I had hoped that this video would be the one where the U.S. entered war, but looks like it's going to be the next one. Because I believe I've already gone about 30 minutes. Which means this is a good spot with what looks like the UK losing. Oh, maybe they're going to come back. They've just cut off these forces. No supply for any units down here, as you can see. UK may come back, which is kind of disappointing for me, but the fact that Germany annexed Yugoslavia and then released Croatia and annexed Greece, I'm wondering how they're going to manage to defend Greece, have enough forces up here. We'll see. We'll see in the next game, the next segment. Thank you for watching.